minus armor on the Eye of Storm and Kunkka with a bunch of cleave damage. Is Viper really going to look that tanky?
5 seconds
It depends how his first 5 minutes goes.
Yeah.
Viper lanes are extremely volatile. I think this hero is super dependent on the first 2 to 3 minutes. If those early waves go his way, he can get to level 3. He doesn't get killed level 1. Level 1 is his weakest point in basically all of Dota, because this hero doesn't really have a spell. He can throw some Qs on you, but most heroes can man fight through it. So the big question is, how does Nigma play those early waves with the Viper, and can they get him to a point where if he gets some random kill, you get sucked into a bad skirmish, he can snowball his lane.
Choose your hero.
Weaver was still in the pool.
Shockingly.
So it is the ATF.
Yeah, the ATF.
They're doing it. They're ripping the seal, Avery.
Yeah,
all right, we'll let you play a carry, but just this one time.
And it will be a Weaver carry as well. It's been a while since we saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this hero's super in the meta right now, but not a lot of core Weaver, right? So this hero's still a really viable carry. People tend to forget about these things a little bit. They just wanted a better lane matchup versus Viper Monkey lane. Weaver should do mostly fine on it. I guess they're probably looking to play super aggressive early. Use the Jakiro attack speed reduction plus the early bug timing.
Can't take the bugs off.
Yeah, this is a lane that could get really out of control for Viper. Again, talking about this hero's volatility. Weaver is another pretty volatile carry in terms of if he starts killing you, it's hard to get back in the lane. So that's the explosive lane for me to watch. It's going to determine a lot.
Weaver bug would also latch on a monkey that's in a tree, correct?
Yeah, it will.
Yes.
And it will give you vision of the monkey also.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because like we said, Kuro, or they're willing to send GH into the safe lane with the Luna, or is it going to be?
Most likely, yes.
Yeah.
I think you do that.
So it's a monkey Viper lane.
But I mean, this Weaver seems unkillable in this game. Who is killing him?
Okay, so my panel's not painting a pretty picture for Nigma Galaxy in this game too, but we just have to see how it plays out, because anything is possible in a game of Dota 2, and we're gonna find out exactly what's gonna happen together with Moxie and Jenkins.
You know, in the real world, monkeys love bugs.
They do. I've seen videos on the YouTube of monkeys picking the bugs off of each other's scalps and then eating them. And so I expect in this game we'll see Kuroki doing that.
In the game of Dota 2, though, I don't think they like these bugs anywhere near as much, especially when you pair it up with that Jakiro. It's already difficult to take these off. And we actually had this conversation the other day with Purge and SVG. We were saying how obnoxious it is and how it feels like it takes too many hits to get some of these off, right?
It does. And that's why Solar Crest on Support Weaver is so annoying, because you've at the attack speed of reduction, you can't kill them. You just can't. They do like 400 or 500 damage by the time you kill them, even if you start right-clicking them as soon as they're on you. So annoying. It's gonna be Kuro Monkey this game too. So I'm wondering, is he gonna be playing up towards the top lane? It looks like he is, because he has a stick, so that's for the Weaver lane. GH playing with the ILTW on Luna, makes sense. I think Luna plus Io should do fairly decent against a Razor lane, because they're just so fast and they have so much sustain and ways of getting last hits where even if you're linked, you're fine.
Yeah, speed is pretty important, but already snapping up these bounty runes. Bit of harass being placed over onto Kuro. Tiger getting to position here. We'll land the impale, and it'll take a little bit. But
first
they'll get the first blood, and they'll give it to BZM,
shots.
so he's off to a very nice start here in the mid lane. Amar, though, taking a lot of damage as he had his own scuffle.
That is the #1 way to tilt your mid laner, is to give the enemy mid laner first blood. It's so infuriating to have that first 2-minute water run
is on board.
be actually like bottleable, guaranteed. Like oftentimes you end up having a mid getting both the runes. They just insta-win the lane. So because of this, Nigma now has to probably put a little bit of a focus on mid, which I expected they probably would have anyway, because the Storm wants those runes.
It's a little rough, though, when you take a look at what they have for being able to rotate, right? Because GH cannot leave this Luna. And look, these body blocks coming out from Taiga. They're going to maximize the amount of damage that they can sap from ILTW here.
Yeah, I think it'll be probably Kuro rotating. One nice thing about Monkey 4 is the courier sniping.
That is true.
Lane is pushing in, so Mind Control's pretty happy about this.
Yeah, how do you feel about the Viper? Because we definitely heard a Speechy just on the desk go, what the hell?
Now. Your Admiral is on board.
I like the Weaver pick against it. I think that was a really good flex because Viper would definitely be more. I mean, if you're running the carry Kunkka, which OG will run, Viper would do really well against that. Viper would do decent against a Razor, depending on what your support is and how the early levels go. But definitely against a Weaver, like you're just never killing a Weaver ever. You're just a slow-based hero against a hero that cannot be slowed. Not much more to say about it.
So is that a situation where we're more likely to see Kuro try to rotate over into the mid lane like you were discussing?
Yep, probably. I think so. And Mind Control is just going to try to play with the lane as far back as possible, get as many CS as possible, and play for early mid game rather than like owning the lane.
He's got to play fairly conservatively though, because they said, you know, if he starts to fall behind, if they start getting these kills, it's going to be very difficult for him to get back in.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely really happy with how the lane is going so far, though. He's been like constantly at his tower. Mid is dead even, dude. No, just kidding. One extra deny.
I still think that it's pretty close.
I mean, mid lane was dead even last game, and then BZM solo killed Miracle, so...
Yeah, a little bit of miscalculation with the regen that was available, I believe. Slight miscalculation, these things do happen.
Both of these off lanes are going quite well in terms of like where the lane equilibrium is. You're super happy to see this because then the support can just leave and you get all this solo XP for Amar, who is playing a core hero, essentially a carry hero.
Nice impale again, just putting out as much damage over onto ILTW as possible. A couple clicks off, couple body blocks over onto GH. Tiger sitting very low, has to be careful, does have that fairy fire though and the tether. So, going to be all right, but Amar has taken quite a bit of damage to play around with here.
Stupendous!
72 damage at 3 minutes in is... That's a lot. That's like... He does like 3 auto attacks in a single auto attack against 2 heroes that are not particularly great armor, especially the IO.
Again, a little bit off the mark this time with that impale. But Amar just continuing to take a bit more of that damage.
No gold for you.
And the question I have now with what's happening with this lane is you don't ever want to play a lane just to survive it, right? Like, you want to be the one who's like making these moves, who's putting the pressure down.
I think you can do that if you're also stacking, or if your support is like going to get bounty runes. Like, there's some other resource that you're getting.
Right.
But in this situation, they are just down here surviving. There's a hard camp stack, but this was by OG for the pull. This favors them. There's no like big jungle stacks or anything that GH is making. This is a pure laning scenario where they're doing okay, but I think Amar's quite happy right now.
I would assume so. Things are going very much his way. Taking a look over at the triangle, not seeing any of those stacks either, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle here for ILTW. But again, they're fast enough, they're able to survive, they haven't managed to get any of those kills, so... Things are looking okay for them for now, and if they could get a kill, though, sure would make a big difference. A turn back around with the impale, again, the leashing up again. Samar continues to click. A little bit more damage, Lucent Beam coming in handy. We'll push back Amar, and he's going to be forced to use some of that regen, because he is sitting a bit low. In fact, look at this LPW, he wants to slow the Lucent Beam. So, a very nice turnaround here, coming out from the side of Nigma here on the bottom lane.
So on one hand, I really like the call to use the suck on the Luna because she's going to be the big damage source, but then the result of that is you're just standing in the IO tether and just getting slowed and slowed and slowed, taking a ton of damage. Bit of harass. Yeah, just chilling.
Just bugs.
Yeah.
Normal things.
Yep. That's a play you see pretty frequently, where Storm gets 6 and you send boots out and you walk back to Fountain and then TP somewhere, and oftentimes they'll go for a kill.
Seems to be the play here, but 5 seconds of Torn, Miracle.
Usually it's with the Fountain regen.
Ooh, Misha's on the top lane. Give themselves a nice kill.
So Weaver probably can't die up here. It's very unlikely Weaver dies, but Jakiro is always at risk. I mean, this is a tanky boy, right? And tanky boys, whenever you're playing against Viper or Ursa or any of these stack-based heroes, the more you run in a tank, the more damage you take.
more harass coming out, but Amar learning a little bit of his lesson here. He's going to back off, realizing that they do have plenty of damage should they decide to go for this. Taiga. Be a teleport down. It's a good therapist into the impale. It's the slow Amar.
Invisibility.
DZM coming in here. He's got that. Oh, the double torn and the boat off to the side. Not going to be able to do much other than just bump them up a little bit, make sure the Amar stays alive. And they'll get a double kill at the bottom lane. Top lane, though, making their own plays over onto mind control. Couple clicks over onto Kuro. He's trying to run away. He's frantically trying. He's got that very fire. They go in and they hard commit on the Monkey King.
All right, everybody but Miracle is dead. Now the question is, will he die now?
I mean, it looks like they're trying to get into position. Let's learn a little bit of that mana. The jump forward on Taiga, that's the spike carapace Miracle, no problem for him. A little bonus kill on his way after clearing out the small camp.
All right, showing his team how it's done. You get kills instead of getting killed.
This is some life lessons, right?
Yeah.
Guys, can you guys stop feeding?
Yeah,
I hear like that's what you'd hear in a pub, right?
Yeah. This death was a good death. That's not the what's the line?
This death doesn't really matter.
This death doesn't really. Yes, of course.
Shout out to Team Liquid for that one, I believe. Cut down the tree. Give a couple clicks over on Kuro again. Boundless will connect. Be a little bit careful, but it looks like Mind Control says, yeah, you're on your own. In the bottom lane, ILTW taking a lot of harass. Gonna get clicked down by Amar, and GH, he's a lonely little ball of light. And now he's extinguished.
That's a nice little play from Taiga there, stepping in the tree line where he can walk on Io, so it forces him to go around the long way, which gives Amar like a billion more right clicks on him. That was an exaggeration. He got 3 more right clicks on him, but it was enough to kill him.
Might as well felt like it though, right? When you do that much.
Yeah, with Razor. It's nice though. Like on Nyx, you're so tanky that you can actually use your body for things like that. You know, if you're playing a hero like Pudge and you try to do that, you're tanking these tower shots. You just die. You just die trying to. But if you're playing Nyx or Ogre, then like walking in to block paths and walking in to take damage, taking tower shots, like that sort of stuff has a lot more value on these high stats heroes, high base stats heroes, I should say.
Now it's a
A lot of pressure being
party.
placed, but no buildings quite being cracked just yet for either team. The LTW just trying to find some safe farm. It's been a little rough in this bottom lane, despite getting that early kill. Has died twice.
DCM's down here. I love this pressure out of OG onto ILTW because he has 3 points in beam, and so he has no jungle to go recover in. And so if they sit down here and they pressure him out of this lane, Luna is just literally not going to farm because he can't jungle with these skill points.
Right? Yeah.
Bounty.
So it's easy when the creeps are in tower like this, but once it pushes out, you're a lot more scared. And he's holding a point, so he doesn't know if he wants to use that in ult for a kill or in glaives for, you know, jungling. I imagine he'll probably take his point in glaives pretty soon. Yeah, there he goes.
What's the mindset behind like this particular build? Because it felt like they were struggling a little bit in the lane, and so it feels like you might want to go for the earlier point in the glaives, but
the mindset was that if they max Lucent Beam, they can kill Amar, and also you have Io, who's going to be constantly giving you regen, and so spamming out a spell is super viable with that hero because you can just do it infinitely. It worked. It's just now that it looks a little rough when you're going to this.
The hunt is on, ILTW, the Netta lands, they'll follow up with the Impale, and in comes the Io, though. GH trying to keep him alive. He's not going to be able to now with that tether on cooldown. Looking a little bit scary, but the follow-up, you have the rotation from Miracle, despite Carapace coming into play. Amar trying to be cheeky yet again. Has to be careful, though. You don't want to play with Miracle. He'll try to punish you. BZM, though, right place, right time, making these rotations. Miracle will get clipped by the Torn, falls to the ice path, and he's pretty fast. Nice Boundless will slow them down a little bit on the side of OG. They really want this, though. Look at Taiga. Oh, he walks right into the Remnant with the spike Carapace, but looks like he's going to end up paying for this, as Miracle will turn right back around again. They drop that Macro Pyre. Misha now needs a little bit of help if they decide to follow up, but BZM still standing nearby in the river, running parallel. Will help escort Misha back to this area.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I really like watching. I mean, I know Taiga just died, but I really like watching OG in these little skirmishes because I noticed that they all retreat in the same direction, and then as they're doing that, you can see like Amar was moving over, so that there's this threat of them becoming a ball. It's like they're not a ball, and so they're farming pretty well because they have this skirmish happening mid while Amar is farming bot. But even though they're so far away from him mid, they know that if they run towards him and he runs towards them, they can meet up at a point, and there's this threat that if Nigma, if they overcommit, then Amar's going to be there, and all of a sudden it is a death ball. It's just interesting to watch. Didn't result in anything there, but it did in the previous game a lot.
The idea of like playing close to one another as Taiga does get spotted, they'll go for a reload. Be able to clean up on the Styx assassin. So
Told you a storm was coming.
question is, do they hang out? Do they take someone back? Looks like they want to put pressure on this tower.
Yeah, definitely the right move. If you lose that bottom tower, you know that there's this timer on your head where if you don't take this top tower, all of a sudden enemy team is farming like 20% more of the map than you are. You just have the triangle to farm, which ILTW is fine with. But the question is, like, you know, where the hell would Miracle farm at that point? So you take that tower. OG's not even getting contested. It's difficult to defend.
They have a lot of nice vision placed up over in the jungle. Of course, whenever you have a Monkey King, that's going to provide you with a lot more movable vision and also someone to tank those ganks. But they also drop a ward just to keep tabs on information, maybe find themselves a Jakiro. So that's a nice pick off here for Miracle.
Blow the man down.
And now they'll know that they're being watched. Yeah, look at that.
Pings exactly
immediately, like, this is where he is.
Yeah.
And there was, of course, the Monkey King nearby too, but
Miracle is 4-0-0. So he's really got the weight of this entire game on his back right now. ILTW, he's getting some catch-up time, which is nice. Eventually he'll have some weight on his shoulders, but for now he's just an ancient farming bot.
I mean, there's the ghost play. Oh, a little bit of a top of the toy. Trying to buy a bit more time. Tiger following up. He's just there, throwing out a lot of the slow. Nice stun, and they're just gonna let BZM hook down.
Eat my
A
way.
high five. Camaraderie as they de-ward over here immediately. Now, I feel like some of the other matches that we've watched recently with Miracle, granted, Miracle's been back like, what, a day? At this point, like from yesterday, it felt like he's had to do some serious carrying in these games, and he was very good at it, to be fair. But, oh, Kuro, he was doing some scouting. Oh, nice save though, coming up from GX. Miracle zips in, trying to put some damage over Teach, and Kuro going right back. Nice bounce, 5 bit more time. Is it going to be enough? No, Amar. Finds Miracle. The ice path just a little bit too slow. It's GH. Teleporting away. Genie's gonna just reconnect here with Kuro. Has the bug on him. They have the vision. Do they chase those? The question they're looking for. GH trying to be a bit careful. Mind control. This is a tier 2 tower. I don't think you want to go and dive this just yet, OG.
So they're not diving, but they do effectively zone off the tier 1 tier now, so it means it's a lot easier for them to get. The question is, does Nigma want to commit to fighting them?
I mean, ILTW just teleported over, but I think it's mostly, it's a very similar play, right? The idea of farm near each other, and then if they overcommit, bring in the big guns.
Yeah.
But Luna needs more time to farm for sure.
I don't mind ILTW getting involved in the fights. This new Luna build that people are doing, where you max Lunar Blessing, and then live second, you can show up the fights. Dude, Misha, I think that's the second or third time we've seen him cut off the tree.
Spidey sense.
The unfortunate thing about Kunkka is that the reload save doesn't do squat.
It looks flashy, you know, but yeah, it will bring him right back in again. I don't think I've seen Taiga smile this much in matches in quite a while.
That might just be the same video they keep playing.
It could be. We could be being baited.
He's been smiling in every instant replay.
And we have him hold up a timer every time.
That's a good idea.
He's been on Amar. Miracle, give him a little light tap on the butt, get a little bit of baggy, but needs to be careful because there's OG nearby yet again. So GH will just disappear as Miracle will make his way over to the side, wait patiently, as they'll wait patiently for the eye to come back in. We'll get the tether, but again, that X, like we talked about, a very good spell. So Miracle, he's hiding in the tree line. They're not going to be able to quite find him. Over in the mid lane, though, mind control is now he's able to teleport out.
You know, one
Invisibility.
place where OG does look like a potentially abusable
Dire are
team
scanning.
is that they like all the time to play with each other.
Radiant's middle
They
tower
are
is
always
under
trying to
attack.
save each other. And so,
Radiant's middle tower
I
has
mean,
fallen.
maybe it's just their lineup, the way that they drafted it works. BZM. Okay.
Yeah, look at how fast Yaragi makes this rotation though too.
Step
The way they
lively
play
now.
together and
Your
make moves
admiral
around
is
the
on
map.
board.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like
It's
other people
crazy.
TP to Yaragi, and so now Yaragi runs bot.
Yeah.
He knows that the others that TP can't get here.
Nice ice pack, couple clicks here over on GH. The Torrent connects, no IO to babysit Miracle now, as they do find a Byron. Drop the Nether Toxin with Dead Razor, so nice way of identifying the fact that if everybody's down there, that Bar's got to be all
Dire
alone over here.
structures.
I'm getting like the gut read on this that like Nigma is realizing that that OG is super pride manny. Like if they're split and you go on them, they will make it so that they go
Radiant
together.
are scanning.
And so splitting them and having a Luna farming Ancients, this isn't going too bad for Nigma. I mean, 2k gold lead now, it's dissipating. Like, this is what you want. You don't have an Ancient farmer on the other side. I mean, maybe Kunkka, but, you know, he's a mid Kunkka in this game, so it's not a Luna or a Medusa.
It is not indeed. We have the Orchid picked up now for Storm, so that's going to make a lot of these engagements much easier for Miracle to get the pick. Like Misha. Hi, Misha. There's a little bit of size with the Vertex, but look at the way that they immediately fall. Like we said, get the X off, get the macro fire. They're going to devote a lot here, but aren't able to quite get their hands on Miracles. They get a little nervous. GH teleporting him out. Wants to make sure that he's going to be fine. Miracle will just teleport to a different lane.
They might fight it.
They might. Yeah, the zip in from Miracle. They're trying to bait again, so they'll pop Taiga.
Radiant's bottom tower
OG
is under
backing
attack.
off now, not maybe expecting that kind of response.
The IO is looking pretty good against Team OG, the way that they like to play.
I mean, it's GH's IO too, right? Like, you don't get much better than that.
Yeah, the reload saves making it so that OG's like overcommitting for a lot of these kills.
Oh, he tried to go for the denial. No luck, but there's the BKB from BZM, so it's gonna have to teleport out. And Nigma will happily take that middle tower.
Stupendous.
All right,
Not bad.
this is what I want to see.
Yeah, not bad at all.
I don't like seeing stomps. They're not fun. They make the fans angry. I want to see these guys duking it out to the very end.
Now, I think we're going to need to see OG adjusting in this game to not just necessarily deathballing, like...
They want a Mar. And Miracle jumping in. They've already got the BKB. It's just going to teleport out. I don't know if they have quite enough damage. That felt like an OG play for a moment here. Hiragi. Silence getting dragged back. Taiga, they're getting into position. Nice ice pack coming through as they blow up Miracle. And now they'll turn their attention over to the Monkey King, but he's already been teleported out. Mind control, hanging out by the tower. And they just wait in the area over on the side of OG. Mind control, again, still trying to be in this position for the IO. Get that X off, the tether is nice, but it's not going to be enough to save for GH.
Step lively now. Your
Are
admiral is on
scanning.
board.
That was really nice bait.
Oh, they see mind control though. Gonna try to put the damage over on the Pearl with the Boundless. Should be able to find it on Jakiro, but I don't know how much will be able to follow with the torch coming in. Landing again. Mind control. Come on, we'll fall. Triple kill now for Hiragi. Because he used that Eclipse, but he just can't seem to get his hands on anyone here. Dragging right back into the torch. Lots of damage. This is a dead Luna. It's an ultra kill now for Weaver.
I know Uragi just got the ultra kill, so that's cool, but I feel like BZM has been super on point with all of his torrents. Like, he's making it look like a really good
Radiant's bottom
stun when it
tower is under
just kind of isn't. It's really hard to hit.
Silence on silence action. GH trying to keep Miracle alive. He's gonna pull forward. Still got that mana left. GH taking down to Mars and chasing after the plasma field comes in. They'll kill GH. But Miracle will survive thanks to that little ball of light.
Am I crazy, or is he hitting like these torrents where, like
He is on point. No,
it's
you're
really,
absolutely
it's
right.
really hard to hit a storm with torrent. It genuinely is, because he can just zip your X. But he's like torrenting, expecting Miracle to go in, and then Miracle is going in, and then perfectly chain stunning with both.
Again, you can see this down here.
And on 2 heroes too.
Yeah, you can see Kuro, Mind Control. I mean, they do have the ice path, right? So they've got setup.
Radiant are
But
scanning.
it does look really beautiful, the way that he's able to land on both of those.
That was probably his least impressive torrent, and it was still a 2-man.
That was more like Misha being in the right place, right time, knowing where to drop the ice path. But he has. No, I agree. I believe that he's been very consistent with a lot of these drops. And it goes to lead on where we talk about teams that have that sixth sense, where they can kind of figure out this is where they're going to want to move. Like, this is the path they'll take.
Haste.
And that's something that OG is showing to have a bit of a grasp on here as they smoke play into Kuro, into Miracle. The silence immediately over onto the storm. He's not going to be able to run away in time, so he will just get obliterated. Kuroki, he was trying to play the bodyguard, and they just had their sights set on Miracle too hard over on the side of OG. But Atos picked up now from Roggy. It's going to get so hard for them to be able to get away. And into the pit they go.
Yeah, BCM.
Radiant's top tower is under
Okay.
attack.
Well, I don't know what it is with OG and the Roche pit, but like they just look at the Roche pit. Remember when Yuragi went in his first death?
Yeah, I just got smacked across the
Every
face.
single time. I don't know what it is with Roshan.
Sean has fallen.
You know, they can't be too powerful, right? You know,
Yeah.
they need something to keep them in balance, and I think Roche could be one of those ways. To
They just get really excited when they see Roshan.
Radiant's top tower is under
I
attack.
mean, this is a guy will give you immortality if you get the kill.
That's true.
Wouldn't you be excited?
The Fountain of Youth.
As I don't think it's Fountain of Youth.
Roshan protects the Fountain of Youth.
I don't think that's the case at all. It's immortality,
Radiant's
not
top
Fountain of
tower
Youth.
is under
The
attack.
Fountain of Youth indicates that you would.
Would you be like
You get
1,000
younger.
years old and just a decrepit skeleton?
I mean, it depends on what lore you're talking about.
Okay, I see. Well, human lore.
Which human
Radiant's
lore?
top tower.
Look at this
has
teleport.
fallen.
Look at the TPs going down immediately. They just want to make sure that Miracle cannot survive, not be a part of this fight. He's Yum and Taiga poking away. They want GH. They have the X marks the spot. The Yule being set up though over here as well. Into the Iceman BKB coming up from ILTW. They'll keep him alive. They'll keep him healthy. But GH will get interrupted with the teleport. And they'll murder the IO. Kuro running now, has the bug on him. Trying to run, but they have the X marks. So look at the damage that Yuragi is just dishing out as Amar gets to the double kill.
Can't escape.
He didn't hit it that time, but did you see BZM? He tried for the torrent on the IO tether. He tried to get the torrent so that when the IO tethered to Luna, that it would hit him mid-tether. Didn't hit that time, but it's like going for those super high-value clutch plays. Like you hit that once, and all of a sudden you've got some solo kill you shouldn't have gotten. At this point, he doesn't even need to do it because of an 8K gold lead and an Aegis.
Are scanning.
But it's still, you know, it's clearly his built-in habits to play like this.
Well, Dota's been a game about margins for a while now, right? Because everyone's just getting so much better at the game that it's all these little tiny things that can really turn the tide. So like, you know, yeah, he missed it, but it's one of those situations that if he had landed it, it would have made, you know, potentially
Radiant's
a difference
top tower
there.
In a more
It's under
even game,
attack.
it would make
And
it
a more
would make a difference. In this situation, it's like they're so far ahead that they can.
But it's instinct, like
Yeah.
you mentioned.
Yeah. Well, you don't know.
There you go. Ice Pack's a little off the mark. Look at the bug. Bug gleam here. There's the downless. GH trying to keep Ice to be alive. So much damage, so they're not going to be able to. They lose Taiga. They'll turn around. They have those BKBs up and running over on the side of OG. They drop the move up to him, but it doesn't seem to matter because they just take it back in the middle of all of this. As they manage to find Miracle, the stuff is everything. They just rip apart Nigma.
They're chain stunning really well on OG. If any of
Radiant's
these
top
stuns
tower
doesn't
is
like
under
perfectly
attack.
land, even if you do it close to perfectly, you can still BKB on the very first frame of like any stun. So
on board.
there's a lot of potential for BKBs to get off here, but it just ILTW could not get his off until he was 10% HP, and at that point you're already
Radiant's
dead.
top tower is under attack.
Silence again. Mind Control will pop the BKB, turn around, get a couple of these clicks off with the Viper Strike.
Radiant's
Easy
middle
end though,
tower
just
is under
teleporting
attack.
away. Man, this guy has been just on fire, honestly. Like 10-0 and 10 for this match so far.
Yeah, he's owning. I know a lot of people focus on Amar because he's got this,
Radiant's
you know,
middle
crazy
tower
personality
is
from
under
that first
attack.
interview, but
Radiant's middle
this
tower
series
is
got
under
definitely again.
A miracle, though, indicating that, or rather, identifying that he's found himself a quick kickoff thanks to that sentry ward. Will capitalize. That's actually Mind Control who got the final hit, too.
It's a start. I like that ILTW is going for Daedalus. He's just going like all in on raw damage. Also going for Aghanim Shard build because you commit into a fight against these heroes and you're just gonna die. So I honestly don't mind the idea of like Daedalus Rapier and just play the high ground defense, go super late game, then all of a sudden you have this spike where you can still win the game on Luna with that, especially if you can get a Satanic and you're insta healing to full HP on every Lucent Beam.
I think it also helps when you have an IL, right? You need some sort of a steroid to help keep you alive because you are a bit squishy and the damage that can come out from the side of OG is formidable, but look at the way that they're moving together. They're trying to make a sweet play.
They're going for a full wraparound. I mean, they would like to get Misha here.
I mean, it looks like they'll be able to find Misha very easily. Look how fast this Jakiro just melts. So, OG hoping to find an exit strategy because it is just a support, but they need to do this, right? They need to be able to get out of their base and just get some of this ground back again. Like, look how much that Weaver just did. Bleed there. They go back in, no? Keep poking a little bit. The zip forward over onto Yuragi. Gonna need some of the follow-up for that help. The buyback now coming up from Misha, so that is the Aegis. BZM getting position. Nice loosen beam though, slowing him down. Gets that minute to stop. Coming from the sidelines. They'll find Kuroki as they're opening hit. As they'll dive both out to the back here. The TPs are coming out. They've already taken out ILTW. They cancel out the teleport of Miracle. He's got to get out of there fast. They have the bugs on him. Can they just finish off? No, the experts is right back in. And again, Miracle's clicking away. He's got to get this buzz off of him, but GZM, he's got the organ. Went to the door play. Look at this, the high five. He wants a high five from Miracle. Miracle bottling. He's gonna be so ridiculous. I'm going to run away. He's got the double damage. He's bottling up. Turns around, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, but he
It does not matter.
he's hit right into a ward. He almost survived that.
Almost. And Mind Control is just trying to put out the damage. He knows he's not surviving this. Amar walking over, has one of those mantles. Yeah, you know, I think Lacoste said it on Twitter. Feels like OG's dismantling Nigma Galaxy in the series.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack. Radiant's top
No, they're not because they have the mantle. A good cancel out on the TP, but I don't know about this Kuro. W is trying to get them off of their base. They'll take out a tower and the lane of rats. Luna just running after them. It's very scary when you consider there's no model on the Xbox bar going in. Look at this damage. These heavies get popped. Amar's just chasing out. They ignore GA completely because he knows the BGM will finish up on him. Miracle zipping in, zipping out, trying to clear them out of this area. Kuro hiding in the tree lines. Look at the gas. They knew he was over in that area, but Kuro just a little bit too fast. As now Nigma Galaxy, they've lost some of their buildings, and they need to figure out how do they continue this defense? How do they keep them out of the base?
Yeah, this is Rapier territory for sure.
Can they even get over to that area? That was the question.
The thing is, even if they can get over to the area, I kind of feel like he needs also the Daedalus to crit with the Rapier. Otherwise, I don't think that they're going to have the damage to kill everybody on OG before OG just kills them. Like, let's say all spells are cast on both sides. Even if, like, Nigma presses, like, 2 times as good as OG, I still think OG will win the fight. Unless ILTW can get some more damage. Which is precisely why he's going for the Daedalus. It's just like, he's got to farm it, you know, somehow.
They've also got the Scotty completed, so that's going to negate some of that beautiful healing that's been keeping them here. The silence can BZM throwing his body very forward, has the BKB, trying to pull away, trying to keep Miracle alive, but they can't do it. They'll clean up on him. The follow-up now, Omar trying to skirt around. I think he just melts. He just can't stand toe-to-toe. Mind Control to the kill, and they'll get a kill on Kuro. They call GG. Nigma Galaxy just cannot deal with what OG is bringing to the table.
I mean, they're playing incredibly fast from OG. I actually like the smokes out from Nigma, where they try to get out of the map, even though they're like trapped in their base. I like the itemization